Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chapter 5, Medical Nutrition Therapy. This is a pretty hefty chapter. I encourage you to look at the definition of MNT or Medical Nutrition Therapy on page 102, but just to reiterate, it is the nutritional assessment and treatment of a condition, illness, or injury that places an individual at risk. And by risk, that means a nutritional risk. There's two parts, the assessment, and then after you've done an assessment, it's a treatment intervention. Okay. So before we get into the different types of medical nutrition therapy, we're going to talk about what facilities need to do to provide um, medical nutrition therapy. Okay, so like we've talked about in chapter 1, we've gone from diseases that result in nutrition deficiencies like scurvy, beriberi, pellagra, now to diseases resulting from nutrition excesses. So things like type 2 diabetes, hypertension, obesity, strokes, um, gallstones, things like that. The main thing is that we remember that medical nutrition therapy is this word here, individualized. Okay. We don't want to just give the same therapy to each person and each condition, because what would be the point of a nutrition professional then? They could just find that one piece of information on the interweb or, from a physician or other health provider. So I like to stress the individualized portion of it. This is why I encourage nutrition professionals to take a very detailed diet history from a client, so that when you're providing sample menus, when you're providing some intervention for a specific type of nutrition condition, you can individualize it to that person. For instance, if they say, I don't eat any green vegetable, and you are working with them on a weight loss diet and you hand them pre-printed menus where every supper meal has green vegetables, that's not going to be individualized to them. What we're looking at is you writing out a few days, a week-long menu alongside of the client with foods that they like, which foods that they'd consider, and with foods that they feel comfortable preparing. So that's where that individualized piece comes into play. When we're looking at more specific to facilities, like an acute care facility, like a hospital or a long-term care facility, there are some definitions that are important for us to know. But before that, I want to point out on Blackboard, you have under weeks 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, you have an example of a diet manual. Okay, if you click on this, you'll see what a diet manual looks like. Each facility is required by Centers of Medicaid and Medicare reimbursement to have a diet manual either in a binder, in folders, or a lot of times places have them electronically now, which is why you see I only have a 2014, because many of facilities no longer use a binder. They're using the electronic versions. So the point of this is that it's been adopted by the nutrition professionals in the facility. The physicians have approved of it, and it is going to be a guide or a reference for any healthcare provider that is working at the facility where a patient may be. This is important for when a nutrition professional is not present on site. So say, for instance, you work in a long-term care facility and your gig is Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. The other professionals working there will need access to nutrition information for evening new admits, weekend, holiday. So I'm going to pause this video now. As you can see, I only have 12 seconds left. And I'm going to pick up on the next video and just peruse through this diet manual.